Hey folks, my name is Gary Holden. I'm the Associate AD and Sports Information Director here at Ferrum College. We're here talking today with Blake Roulo, our head wrestling coach. Blake, welcome to Ferrum. Congratulations.
Thanks for having me, Gary. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, so you must be excited about the whole change and everything coming from Avery University, is where you were and everything. Talk a little bit briefly about, kind of like your career and everything, how you came going to Avery and everything and now at Ferrum.
Basically how it started for me, I wrestled at University of Buffalo and wrestled at George Mason University, where wrestled Division I all 5 years, and I qualified for the Division I national tournament. Made the conference finals two years while I was at Buffalo. Was an all conference wrestler at George Mason, and the assistant coach at George Mason was Tommy Owen. And so Tommy Owen
Ended up being the head coach at Avery.
Yeah, he ended up being the head coach at Avery, and I went to Southern Virginia right out of college, started my coaching career, and because I knew I wanted to be in Virginia, I've always wanted to make Virginia wrestling the best it can be, and so I started at Southern Virginia, and I see this little redhead at the Southeast Wrestling Conference Championships, and he was like, hey, and that started the conversation, and next thing you know, I ended up an assistant and was a graduate assistant for him for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that journey started, and was an assistant for 2 years, and obviously head coach at Averett for 6 years. So
Okay.
real thankful for that journey and the opportunity that Tommy Owen gave me, because that I really owe it all to him in the end.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you here. Talk a little bit about your coaching staff here now. I know you've got one coach back from last year.
Yep. Coach Levi Engelman. Levi Engelman, I mean, he was excellent. I mean, I recruited him out of high school. He took a recruiting visit to Averett. And he was an absolute stud, multiple-time Virginia state champ. He was in the national rankings, obviously, when he was in high school. He's been around great coaching his whole life, being a part of multiple team state championship teams at the 6A level at Colonial Forge. He just recognizes talent. He values position, same as me that way. And I've kind of said it, when it comes to like a position style wrestling, he's really the best of the best. And you add in, he's a two-time All-American at the
Sure.
NCAA level. And I mean, and I kind of said this before to people, anybody who is a number one ranked wrestler in the country, he's got to know wrestling at a high level.
Sure. And he's a great kid and everything too. We're just so glad that he came to Ferrum and everything. It was a joy to watch him wrestle for his 4 years. I actually missed his freshman year when he pinned the defending national champ in the first round of the NCAA tournament. We were hosting it at Berglund Center.
Yep.
And I had gotten called behind the curtain to go talk with somebody about something with video streaming and everything. And I came back out, and someone says to me, they say, hey, did you just see Levi pin that kid? I'm like, what kid? Levi just wrestled? They were like, yeah, he just pinned the defending national champ. And to this day, I've still never seen the video. I've been trying to get with Track Wrestling to see if we can get a copy of that. Levi doesn't have a copy of it either. So one of these days we'll uncover that video and I'll be able to see that match.
Oh, yeah, it's a big moment in Ferrum history.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's a tough competitor. I'm really pumped and excited to work with him.
Good. I really enjoy working with him as well. Blake, let's talk a little bit about your run down at Avery. You had, was it 20 NCAA qualifiers, 10 All-Americans. Talk a little bit about how you want to try to bring that success here. Not like Ferrum hasn't had success, but you want to continue that success. What's your game plan for continuing the success and bringing some things that you did at Avery to Ferrum that can help?
So I think we really enjoyed my time at Averett. We had a lot of fun, whether it was conference champs, NCAA qualifiers, All-Americans. I think the reason why we were consistently, for the most part, inside the top 25 is just culture. I want to bring that same mindset. Obviously, things are changing. Ferrum is a successful program way before I ever got here. But for me, it's going to be about like that accountability, getting 1% better in everything we do. Whether it's in the classroom, whether it's off the mat, we got to value progression over the results. Whether it's a dual meet, whether it's a tournament, whether it's a team meeting, it's like we got to treat everything like we're on the national stage.
Right.
And so that's a tough thing to do for an 18-year-old initially. But I think it's really important that culture is everything, to where guys are okay with calling out each other. And does that create conflict? You show me a really good team that doesn't have conflict, I'll show you a team that's probably not doing too well. Mm-hmm. And so conflict creates resolve in guys, and it creates toughness. So I want to bring a tough, gritty culture, and just a mindset of always doing the right things all the time.
And you've got some returners that will be easily able to step into that, leadership role and everything, and kind of teach the younger guys how things are done and everything, and how to stay away from the things that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a good core. I mean, like literally, like this past year's team, the guys they graduated, yes, they were all Americans, but you're just talking about losing those two starters. Pretty much everybody's back. It's a good unit, along with bringing in some other guys at the previous institution.
Sure.
I feel like we got a solid core that's going to be able to build for the future and kind of lay the bricks and the foundation for what's to come in the next coming years. Like this first year is all about going to be about setting the culture, setting the standards, and we want to take those standards like to a higher place. And it's not that there hasn't been standards; it's just different. We want to. I've been kind of we're toying with different hashtags, but we're trying like transition to chaos, because it is different. We're transitioning to Division II. We're transitioning with the staff, all those things.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that transition. Then we're talking about NCAA Division III. Ferrum's been a D3 school for 30 years. Made the decision about a year and a half ago to go Division II. We've joined Conference Carolinas. Talk a little bit about how that transition is going to affect you with, let's say, for example, postseason.
So, I mean, I think we're going to be very prepared, right? So Conference Carolinas, there's a bunch of tough teams in there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be wrestling top 25 teams on a regular basis, and there's some good competitive programs, and we're excited about the opportunity. We're excited about the challenge, but we're not just becoming Division II just to become to Division II. We're here to compete. Right. We want to compete at a high level. We want to be able to take out those high-level programs, and so in the regular season, yes, it's going to be tough. And then in the postseason, we're going to be competing in the Mid-Atlantic Conference Championships. Mm-hmm. That'll be hosted at Liberty this year. We're going to be doing that for 2 years.
Just over in Lynchburg.
Yep, just over in Lynchburg. And so we'll be competing for the NCAA national title. And I believe that having such a tough regular season is going to prepare us to hopefully bring home a team trophy by this year's end, and hopefully bring home a national title next year.
And guys can earn All-America at the NCAAs.
Yep, and you're competing for national honors. You're competing for regional and national honors, just like you were, in a regular NCAA postseason. So we're going to be attacking that. That's something that administration is on board with, and I'm really excited about. I think it's good for everyone. We get to use the next 2 years as a way to lay down the bricks for when we do hit the NCAA postseason. Our guys are battle tested, they're ready, and it's basically just going to be about we're going to use these 2 years to get better after each competition.
And the competition that you face during the regular season, you like you said, you're going to have some pretty tough competition and everything. So you're going to have 2 years of that under your belt. So none of these guys will be freshmen coming in might be, but none of the guys coming in aren't going to have had very much competition. They will be battle tested. They will wrestle some of the best kids in the country. Conference Carolina's got some real studs. And
it's the biggest, from last time I checked, it's basically the biggest Division II conference in wrestling currently right now. Yeah. And so when you look at that and you look at the East Division, what we're in, it's really competitive from the top down. And we need to be able to be competitive right away. We can't back down to anybody. And year one sets the tone, not just for next year, but for the following half decade to a decade.
I think when teams come into a league for the first time and everything, there's a little bit of maybe people looking down at those teams and everything. So I think our guys will probably appreciate that, because they'll be like, okay, just you better watch your back type. They're going to be like, we're coming after you. It doesn't matter just because we're the new dog in the block and everything. We're coming after everyone.
Yeah, and I look at it a little differently, right? Like 100% right. You being the new dog on the block, like everybody's gonna kind of take you lightly. It's like, but the truth is, it's like when Ferrum was Division III, when previous institution I was at being Division III, we beat Division II programs.
Yeah. Last year we knocked off a couple.
It's like, so you mean to tell me with no athletic scholarships, we're able to beat Division II programs? What do you think we're going to do with it?
Right.
And so now we have an opportunity to tap into a market that it's not that we weren't going after those kids, but I believe we have an opportunity to do something great in the state of Virginia, mm-hmm. where we can attack a market that's been missing something. There's all these Division IIIs, and then you have a couple of these Division Is, but us being Division II is going to be scary for the state of Virginia.
How many colleges in the state of Virginia have Division II wrestling?
So right now it's us and Emory and Henry. So it's just 2 right now, and based on where we're located, I mean where 40 West is, it's like whether you're from 757, 804, Northern Virginia, it's just when you're talking to these recruits, getting them on the phone, it's like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure I want to do Division I, but I know I don't want to do Division III, and I think that market's just been missing.
Yep.
So now, in my opinion, kids don't have to leave the state of Virginia. They can stay in state. We can go after the best kids in the state of Virginia, and that not be a crazy thing. And then we can also go after kids nationally and regionally who are in the national rankings, who are placing at Beast. We want kids. The way I look at it is we want 2 different types of kids. We want kids who are state champions or want to be state champions.
Mm-hmm.
And wanting to be a state champ, you can want to be something all you want, but are you doing what it takes to be a state champion every day?
And sometimes when you get the kid who wasn't a state champion or didn't fulfill his potential, those kids are the hungriest ones coming into college and sometimes parlay their careers into amazing finishes.
100%, because they're not satisfied with their career. They might be a little pissed off. And when you get a kid pissed off in a rising program, in my opinion, they appreciate the opportunity. And we want kids who want to value tough coaching, who want to value getting better every day, and who want to get a degree. Because at the end of the day, whether it's winning a regional title, whether it's being in the national finals, it don't mean nothing if they're not graduating.
Right.
We got to make sure we're retaining, and we got to make sure that we're putting guys that Ferrum can be proud of back into the real world.
Yep. Get that degree, get out there and start making a name for yourself, and then maybe help push some kids towards us later on down the road.
100%.
Talk a little bit about your early impressions of the talent that's already here this year. You have a bunch of guys coming back. You mentioned that, but you've also brought in, I think you told me you brought in like 12 guys between you and Levi.
Yep. So it was a quick transition for sure. We had about 3 weeks. So I can't remember the exact date, but we basically had about 3 weeks to get this thing figured out. And so it was tough. It was rough, but we had 6 transfers come in and 6 incoming freshmen. And those guys believe in what we're trying to do. They believe in the transition. They believe in going Division II, and they believe in our staff. And I thank all 12 of those guys to step into something new, something uncertain. Mm-hmm. I'm really thankful that those guys believe in us as much as they believe in us, and they believe in the brand. And so that is a scary thing to just all of a sudden have a plan and then, all right, we're doing this now. So it was, I think it was a hard transition. I thank Levi so much for, getting the small details figured out with everything, the day to day. He was working sun up to sundown for those 3 weeks straight, getting it all going. But
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and it's just we got some good guys. I'd say when you're looking at key highlighted guys, obviously you got Josiah Canales coming back. You got Cameron Curva coming back. I really like the kid. I really like Toner. And then we got the transfer from Shenandoah, Hunter Thompson, and we got 5 transfers from 5 transfers from Averett. I mean, Braden Fluke was top 10 in the NCAAs at heavyweight, top 10 when it came to pinfalls 2 years in a row. That's a special kind of guy.
Right.
And then Andres Cortez making the ODAC finals, placing at region, is going to beef up our middleweights, and just really excited about what we have coming in. And I think we got a solid core to build for the future for sure.
I think whenever you take over a program, you got 10 weight classes, and as a coach, it's natural to start saying, okay, strong, we got to do something here. We're a little bit weak here and everything. Sometimes with kids fluctuating in their weights and everything, you find kids that all of a sudden get into a weight class and kind of come into their own and surprise you a little bit. And hopefully we'll have that with any weight classes that you're concerned about and everything. And hopefully you'll have some guys that will step in and really kind of fill the spot for you.
Yeah, we got to develop. That's our job as coaches, right?
Yep.
We can't just bring in top talent and big-time recruits and not work with them. You got to work with kids.
Right. I mean, you got to have the talent to start with. A kid can't come in with no talent. Hank Norton, we're sitting in the Hank Norton Center right now. Hank Norton said it for years. He's like, if you want to beat other college teams, you got to start off by bringing in better athletes than other people have, and then coach them up.
Absolutely. I think with what we're going to do, it's going to be a lot of one-on-one development, similar at the previous school, and We're just going to create a toughness. I think the biggest thing I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge guys on wherever I believe they're weak at. I think anytime you bring in a group or you bring in a kid, right, like it's not about being stuck in your way as a coach. It's about what's best for that kid. Some guys need somebody in their face hooting and hollering at them. Mm-hmm. Some kids just need a pat on the back and be like, hey, man, it's going to be all right. Yeah. And it's important to navigate, hey, where am I strong as a coach? Where's Levi strong as a coach? Mm-hmm. And, you know, he's got to pick me up in areas that I may be weak at, and I may have to pick him up on areas that he may be weak at. And I think if we're always self-reflecting as coaches, I believe our athletes will do the same thing. So we have to be a good role model. You can't just hoot and holler and be like, oh, you're not getting – no, there's a reason they're not getting it right. That's why we got the C's on our chest. It's our job to help fix our athletes both on and off the mat. Yep.
And hopefully you get a chance, you'll figure out quickly how kids respond to whatever it is, hooting and hollering, pats on the back. Mm-hmm. You know, some kids just leave them alone, they stay out of their way and they get things done. Other kids, they need that little kick in the butt and everything too. So, well, Coach, I know we're going to wrap things up real quick here. I'd like to have you come back. You start off the season November 1st, I think, at Mount Union.
Yep, yes, sir.
I'd like to have you come back maybe the end of October and talk with our fans, tell them a little bit about who we got, maybe talk a little bit about the weight classes and everything, and just kind of give everybody a look at what's to come, and maybe talk a little bit about some highlights of the schedule. Anything you want to add before we finish up?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, you know, Ferrum is an awesome place that I'm really excited about. You know, like having your own standalone wrestling facility is huge, but I think it's important that you always like reflect back on the past. Like there's been some awesome head coaches here that have done a really good job. You have Logan Meister, who just had these guys top 15 in the country in NCAA Division III. You got Ryan Riggs, who's the current Mount Union head coach. Yep. And you got
doing a great job there too.
Doing an awesome job. Had a national champ a couple years ago. And then obviously you got, you know, Nate Yetzer, who was the pioneer for starting wrestling in the state of Virginia, established it in 2013. And it's like all of those guys, like, you know, to follow in those guys' footsteps, it really is an honor. And you know, Yetzer did a really good job laying down the tradition, what it's like to build a program in the state of Virginia.
Did it twice.
Yep. You know, he's obviously done it here, and he's done it at the program down the street. And, you know, I'm just really honored that, you know, I can take the program in a similar way, and almost like similar to like a new way to where it's like kind of being one of the first Division II programs and hopefully paving the way. But I'm just really excited to continue that coaching lineage, and excited to see alumni of those who were coached under those three staffs. So I'm really excited about the future at Ferrum College because it's going to be a bright one.
Well, I enjoyed working with all three of those coaches, and I'm really looking forward to working with you too as well. So
appreciate it,
Gary. All right, Blake, thank you for coming on. We'll see you again. Folks will come back with Coach Roulo sometime towards the end of October. Thanks, and have a great day.